And just like that, we're back again. But this time, the sun is really out. And I was only here a couple of days ago filming a video speaking into how the seasons have really shifted. But it feels like they've shifted back again. It's about 22 degrees and sunny in Victoria. Late April. A slight little trickle of wind onshore. It's about 1, maybe 2 foot. There's a dude out there on a log having an absolute blast. If you had a foamy or a longboard today, there's definitely waves to be had. Got the Dao De Jing, cup of ginger tea, and life's good. When the sun is out in autumn, it feels like a giant hug for your soul. 'Cause yeah, the air is chilly, but that sun still has so much warmth. And it feels great. I love this place. The sound of the ocean in the background. The waves just rolling through. And here we are. I had a little download that recently came through in relation to making these videos and how I've been speaking into devoting yourself to the practice. And I felt like honoring that even more. And so I've set the intention to come down here every day, regardless of whether or not a video falls out of me, but to simply just be here, be in the energy of this beautiful environment, and to sit here and speak my truth regardless of the outcome. And so therefore, I will continue to devote myself to this practice. And I kept wrestling with, how often should I put out a video? Is it once a week? Is it once a fortnight? And sure, maybe that's still the case, but I will devote myself to the practice every day. And I know there's going to be a lot of challenge with that. Maybe it's really windy and wet and crazy, and that's totally okay. I'm still going to come down here to be in the energy. And today I felt like speaking into the power of simplicity. Sure, that can be through the lens of health, but really it's in the context of everything. So when you receive this, you can integrate and embody simplicity however and wherever in your life. And the way that Bruce Lee summarized it was removing what is not essential and to enhance rather than entangle. So right now I feel we could all agree that health may seem confusing, complex, and entangled. And if we have an underlying health complication, roadblock, challenge, for sure, it definitely may seem complex and quite entangled. But I feel like we're sold the illusion that we need complexity and more entanglement, more noise to heal. And I just don't believe that to be true. My heart tells me it's not true. And I've spoken into removing the noise, the entanglement, the distractions, the complexity, and I've also spoken into building a foundation, and I feel like this video is an expansion of that, but rather talking into the simplicity of everything, the power of simplicity. Removing what is not essential, enhancing rather than entangling. Let's take nature, for example. Doesn't it seem so complex and so entangled and so beautiful? But yet, it's so simple. Nature just is. It just knows. It doesn't need to try. It's not needing to figure it out. It just is. And we are a part of nature. And we have the innate wisdom and the intelligence deeply rooted in us to simply know. But we choose to outsource. We choose to complicate things. But we also have the choice to create simplicity. So, if there are things that feel complex, complicated, entangled, can you ask yourself, invite yourself into seeing how simple it could be to change that reality, to change where you're currently at with your health and with your life through the lens of simplicity. And to even take a moment to remove the entanglement, remove the noise, and come out and sit in nature and ask and invite yourself into what that would actually look and feel like. And start removing what is not essential. And I've spoken into understanding the complexity, which then allows you to understand the simplicity. So if you know something to the depths of the depths, then you can bring it back to simplicity. But you don't necessarily need to know the depths of health to understand and even embody and integrate simplicity. Because I believe, especially through the lens of health, that should be our place to start, but also something that we can continue to integrate and embody as life unfolds. Sure, will there be the need to maybe add in some complex solutions at times? Sure, absolutely. But I believe we almost don't have the rite of passage unless we've built the foundations on simplicity, from simplicity. Let's take nature, for example, in regards to nutrition. If we choose a diet that's built on seasonal nutrition, with a big intention around animal food, seafood, and fruits and vegetables that grow in our environment in that particular season, the simplicity of eating what Mother Nature provides is the simplest diet we have access to. And I made a video about this last week as a part of my membership, speaking into seasonal nutrition. And we spoke into the complexity of it, sure, but there's so much simplicity to understand here. So as we shift from summer into autumn, like we are in this moment, understanding what we have access to, understanding what grows in our environment this time of year, what comes in, what goes out. As we know, we're always going to have access to animal products. That's not really a seasonal thing. So making sure we're eating organic, biodynamic, grass-fed, grass-finished meat, eating wild-caught fish, depending on the latitude, but then from there, understanding the fruits and vegetables we have access to. That's the concept and the practice of seasonal nutrition. And it's so simple. And if you go down to your local farmer's market over the weekend and simply bring awareness to what they're providing, you're usually pretty safe in terms of then what's in season. It's so simple. Even if you just jump on the internet and search for what's in season this time of year in your location, you'll find out what's available. So that's the simplicity of seasonal nutrition. The simplicity of drinking your water that's coming from your environment, spring water. Now, I understand we all don't have the luxury to source that, but getting as close as possible to drinking water that's coming from nature is so simple. Being outside in nature with your feet on the earth is so simple, yet so potent and powerful for our health. Bringing awareness to our breath and breathing slowly. Obviously, there's times where we need to breathe fast and breathe heavy and breathe with intention, with a speed and in a powerful way is called for at times. But the simplicity of breathing through your nose is going to regulate your nervous system. The simplicity of slowing down and doing things with more intention at a slower pace is going to be incredible for your nervous system. The simplicity of waking up with the light that is provided in our environment and then going to bed when it gets dark and not using artificial lights at night is so simple yet so powerful. Removing what is not essential. I believe that's where it starts. And even if we have an underlying health issue like dysbiosis, leaky gut, an autoimmune condition, inflammation, sure, we may need complexity. We may need something that's very specific to you with different foods, different herbs, different supplements. But I will always emphasize the importance of starting with simplicity. Then, if you need to, building with complexity, only if you need to. Sometimes focusing on health from a very intentional, simple place can be enough to move the needle. Sometimes that's not the case, and that's okay. But at least you have built the foundations from simplicity, then therefore it allows you to then build with more complexity. Removing what is not essential. Are supplements essential? Maybe, but quite often not. And a lot of people, I feel, go for the complexity straight away. They go for the supplements. They go for the biohacks. They go for what's trending on social media because, again, they're under the illusion that they have a complicated, complex problem. And then the complexity and the entanglement seems like that's the answer. And quite often we're left feeling that it can't be that simple. Yet it sure can be. Even the simplicity of what we consume, the simplicity of what we buy, how our home looks. We feel like more is always more. Accumulating more stuff, accumulating more information and more noise. Having lots of things going on around us. And if that's creating more noise from you, remove what is not essential. I've loved learning from books. The simplicity of picking up a book and marinating in the experience of reading. The simplicity of reading. Isn't it beautiful? Sitting here, no distractions, no phone, and reading. And so this way of thinking creates even more clarity for me on why I'm off social media. Because it's not essential for me. And it entangles me. It doesn't enhance me. Removing fancy protocols and supplements, because that simply doesn't enhance my human experience. It entangles it. It's expensive. It's unnecessary. Sure, there's some key supplements that I take, especially now that we're moving into winter, like cod liver oil and a really good quality magnesium, maybe some beef organs from time to time. And if there is something that is calling me with the right intention and it's essential, it's not an entanglement, I'll allow it. For sure, I'll allow it. But only if it's essential. If there is a podcast, a video on YouTube that is enhancing my health, my life, my human experience, and it's essential, of course, I'll dive into it. But I've started asking myself the question now whenever I approach anything to do something. Is it enhancing my human experience or diluting it? Is it allowing me to contract or expand? Contract or expand? And this is where I felt social media was causing a contraction for me. It was causing me to feel rigid and demagnetized, and it always left me feeling like I was in a contraction because it was entangling what was going on up here. It was taking me away from the present moment. It was robbing me from my patience. And people have asked me, like, Zach, how will you make your business work? Through other mediums that feel more simple. Like, I have this platform, I have a private stream of consciousness where that platform allows me to speak my truth, and it's a communication app. It's Telegram. People can speak their truth, I can speak my truth. It's simple, there's no other distraction. Then I have my membership. It's so simple. It's just a portal that allows me to share my ideas, my wisdom, create in-depth content, nurture my community. It's so simple. Even what I'm doing with my home environment now, I'm removing all the clutter. I'm removing what is not essential. All of the things that I've accumulated over the years that don't really have a purpose anymore, apart from taking up space, remove. And it's so funny when you do live a life with simplicity, you just feel like your nervous system is so much more regulated. You feel like you can breathe. You feel like you're not getting caught up in the weeds. And I've said in other videos, I'm not saying any of this is going to be easy, especially health, creating your reality. But it doesn't have to be complex and complicated. It can be simple. And if you can sit there with your hand on your heart, knowing that you have devoted yourself to the simplicity of whatever it is that you desire to create, be, and do, and you still feel that there is more room to expand on that, add in some complexity. Off you go. Enjoy it. Embrace it. Have fun with it. But diving into the complexity straight away may not be necessary. The simplicity of showing up with a tripod from Kmart, my phone recording this video, and a microphone attached to a stick. Simple. I'm not editing these videos. I'm not outsourcing content creators. I'm not putting scripts into AI. None of that. Place the tripod down, put my microphone on the stick, press record, and see what comes out. And it's funny because when I have a little ember of an idea, a little spark, I then start thinking about how these videos are going to go. And I was like, okay, yep, I think it's going to look like this. I think I'm going to say this. And then quite often I get to then recording and it comes out completely different. And that's okay. This video could have come out completely differently. And I could have spoken about 1,000 different things. But this is exactly what you get in this moment. This is what's coming through. The stream of consciousness. The simplicity of sitting here and allowing it to fall out of me. So I run with it. And I never sit in the fear or the worry of what it could have been, what it wasn't. Because it simply just is in this moment. And that's the simplicity of that as well. Being like, well, that's what came out of me today. That's what it is. And honoring that. Can you honor yourself by allowing your life and your health to be simple? And if you can, you stay with that? And not get caught up in the weeds like I have before. Not get caught up in the complexity like I have before. Like all of us probably have. And fully claiming how simple this can be. Not easy, but simple. The power of simplicity. And remember, these are just my words. This is just my truth. This is my stream of consciousness. If this deeply resonates with you, can you integrate and embody this stream of consciousness? I'm not saying that everything I say is true or right or wrong. It just is. It's not factual, science-based evidence that what I'm saying is right or wrong. It's just my wisdom. And sometimes that's going to resonate with people and other times it's not. And so the choices that you make in your life, from showing up as your most authentic self, creating, devoting yourself to a practice, whatever health looks like for you, your human experience, allow that to be enough. And don't get caught up in the weeds of what everyone else is doing. But if there are people that speak a language that deeply resonates, sure, feel that pull, work with them, Be in their energy. If there is a book, a podcast, anything that deeply resonates, sure, marinate yourself in that world, in that energy. But if there's anything that you're currently consuming that leaves you feeling more stressed, more confused, and leaving things feeling more complicated than ever, remove what is not essential. And as always, peace and love.